News from the borderland. This is EPAS Unleashed. Hi everyone, welcome back to EPAS Unleashed. I'm your host, Jessica Navarro. As you can see, we are still in a separate area hosting our podcast, and that's because we are under construction right now. Today we are going to be touching on our anti-backyard breeding campaign, and I have two very special guests with me. We have Wesley and Albert. Wesley, can you tell me a little bit about yourself,
Sure.
your job title, and how long you've been here?
Sure. I'm a veterinary technician. Been here for 8 years. Valentine's Day 2015 was when I was hired. I am actually a environmental science major. Actually getting my second bachelor's in veterinary technology. I do have my veterinary assistant degree. 7 courses left, and I'll wrap up my LVT, knock that out, and everything that I've learned so far, started off in private practice, moved on to shelter medicine, and never looked back. I'll never go back to private practice. Shelter medicine's where it's at.
That's great, because we are lucky to have you here. And Albert, can you touch on your job title and how long you've been here?
For sure. Yes. I'm out of field operations with Animal Services. I'm a field supervisor. I've been here for 10 and a half years.
Wow.
As Walker got, I guess, very specific on his start date, so I'm going to go with January 28th of 2013.
Okay.
I've been here since then. My background doesn't include an extension of education or anything like that. I do come from a farming and ranching background.
Okay.
So that's where the love of animals, comes on my behalf. Never thought that I end up, I guess, within, a department of this kind. I've grown fond of it, and it only drives me on a daily basis to come back every day.
Yeah, and I mean, we're lucky to have you as well. You both have been here for so long, and that's why we are lucky to have you on this podcast, because you bring so much knowledge from different sides of animal welfare. And of course, with our anti-backyard breeding campaign, there is a lot to touch, and for animal welfare, there's just so many sides for this breeding issue that we have. And it's not just in El Paso, it's pretty much nationwide, where we're seeing shelters over capacity, and those backyard breeders thriving. And so I just want to touch on, what is breeding. Can we get just a little synopsis of what breeding is?
Yeah, so breeding would be, I guess, and not. I guess it could be seen. I guess depends. From our point of view, would be obviously a litter, either be wanted or unwanted by the pet owners of their pet. Either it be a cat or a dog, or
Yeah.
I guess at this point, pets come in all shapes, sizes, and species. That's all it is a litter of your pet. With the intent to make a profit out of it and to sell, not taking into consideration the best well-being and the interests of the animal in question.
Yes, and of course, here in El Paso, if you are wanting to breed your pets, you do have to have a permit. So can we get insight of what is a breeder's permit and what it entails?
A breeder permit, people are allowed to apply for it. Not necessarily guarantee that they're going to get one. A breeder permit will be granted out on an annual basis to a breeder, only and when if the purpose of the breed, the litter, is for working purposes, either it be law enforcement at any level. We have no registered breeders in El Paso. As much as people like to self-entitle themselves, or they might mention to their buyers, I'm a registered breeder. No, they're not in the city of El Paso. But I guess that's just something that they tell the buyer to, I guess, to guarantee themselves a sale and to build up some sort of credibility on the streets.
Yeah, and I just want to really emphasize that, because a lot of people don't know. Maybe they don't know what to look for, but there are no registered breeders here in El Paso. So if these, backyard breeders are saying this, it's not true.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Correct. Yes, no, we have none registered breeders whatsoever.
okay. And can we speak a little bit about what a litter permit is? Because that is different than breeder's permit.
Correct. So a litter permit is a permit that I guess the general public is able to apply for.
Mhm.
We will grant those on an annual basis. It's granted to the responsible parties, or I guess the owners, under their name, and that one dog in particular. It's for either an unwanted, I guess, litter, an accidental litter, as they say, and that doesn't give them the right to I guess to breed,
Mhm.
but it's just accountability of that litter that's come onto their premises, either be
Yeah.
wanted or not, and it only allows us to assure that the well-being of the residents there with the pets to make sure everything's checking okay. But there is that one litter permit that people are able to apply for. We do grant them out on an annual basis. It's going to be for 1 calendar year, starting the date of when it is, I guess, granted. So, for example, let's say there's a litter permit that is granted out this month
Mhm.
to I guess I don't know, to Juan Garcia.
Mhm.
He's, I guess, given the permission to have that litter there on his premises with it being unlawful or considered unlawful.
Yeah.
Then at that point, they'll run the risk of getting cited for the permit for the litter on their premises. That doesn't entitle or give them the luxury of breeding that dog a second time
Mhm.
within the calendar year. Because if it does happen, they do are now subject to citations.
Yes. And with that being said, that is to also make sure that these pets are being taken care of. You're saying that they can only have one litter a year. That's what's granted to them. And what is the reasoning behind this? I guess that's more of like a medical kind of question, because the dog or cat, if they're being overbred, that could lead to a lot of issues with their health. Is that correct?
Yes. So, and we see this from time to time. Dogs and cats that come in, especially ones that are older,
Hmm.
they will typically have health problems associated with breeding. I mean, in general, intact females, they're more at risk for infections of the uterus, that we refer to as pyometra. They're more at risk for cancers, which is a bad, but just in general, nobody wants
Hmm.
cancer.
Yeah.
Neither does a
Hmm.
dog or a cat. And the cancers of the reproductive organs, they just ravage the body, and if they metastasize, they goes to other parts of the body, and it's overall bad for the animal.
Yeah, and we spoke with Dr. Chacon in episode 2 about the importance of spaying and neutering, and there's so many myths and misconceptions that people have. Can we just retouch that subject, because I feel like a lot of of the community members might not know better. So I want to reiterate what we talked about in episode 2.
Of course, with females, the number one reason that we hear that people don't want to get their female spayed is we want her to have her first litter so she can nurture motherly instincts.
Hmm.
Completely false.
Yes.
There's no merit to that. That is, I don't know exactly where that myth popped up, but you see and hear it across the United States. Doesn't matter
Hmm.
where you are. It's not unique to our area.
Yeah.
You hear it everywhere. Um, a female having a litter of puppies or a litter of kittens is not going to make her more friendly. It's not going to make her more motherly. Her temperament, her behavior, how she is, that's how she was brought up.
Hmm.
And we, as pet owners, we are directly responsible for the temperament and our behavior of our pets. So if you have a cranky dog or a cranky cat, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be how you as an owner train your pet
Yeah.
and interact with your pet.
Yeah.
So there's just no merit to that. In the male dogs, you also hear this from time to time. It's a rather silly excuse, but they don't want to neuter their male dogs because they believe that it emasculates them. And there is a whole subset of veterinary medicine that when they perform neuters, they will actually fill out the scrotum so that it appears that they
Yeah.
are intact. Believe it or not, that is a thing.
Wow, that's crazy.
I don't know where that popped up, but yeah, that is a thing.
Hmm.
So you hear those reasons for both males and females.
Hmm.
And to add what Wesley had said, it is true because our officers, when they go out there and do conduct inspections, and upon explaining to them, that the animal's behavior and conduct, reflects the owner's, behavior and conduct also. And like Wesley was saying, they how do I say it? I guess in a nice way, they have an oath on someone on something that if their male dog, is not intact, it's not a man dog. And it's not gonna protect my house. It's not gonna guard the house. It's not gonna take care of the family.
Yeah.
And then on the contrary, it all depends on the hand that feeds it. And I guess their mindset is it's one of our biggest challenges. That Yeah, it's the myth of a dog being intact, and I touched that topic in particular because that's one of our biggest, I guess, feedbacks that well, why are we gonna take his pride away? Well, no, it's not about pride, but I guess yeah, it's an everyday challenge for our
Yeah.
operations team.
Yeah, we're putting our human, mindset or emotions onto these animals, and it's definitely not how they feel. My dogs, of course, are neutered and everything, and I don't see any issue with them. And on their, they don't care about what we're trying to project onto them. So yeah, it's definitely something that I hope that with some education, we can have the community understand that it's better for their health. It's better for their they could have behavior issues that might be fixed, but by getting our pets neutered. And of course there are a lot of breeders or that sell their pets before they hit the 8-week mark. Can we talk about the issues that we see if a puppy is separated from their mom, or if a kitten separated from their mom at a young age?
So with puppies and kittens, with kittens specifically, we hear this a lot. Not we hear it, but there's a term that goes around. It's called single kitten syndrome. If you separate a puppy or a kitten from the litter or separate them from the mother, there are challenges with behavioral development of the puppy as it grows up. So without mom keeping him in check, putting him in place when he needs to be put in place, without the social environment of the rest of the litter, those types of animals that are pulled away from their families too young, they have social development problems. And you as a pet owner, if you take a single kitten or a single litter or a single puppy, you should do your due diligence to socialize them, to correct behaviors that need to be corrected, because that's what mom does.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to fulfill the role of mom. But you should be kind of cognizant about that if you decide to take a single puppy or a kitten. And that's why our puppies and kittens here, you'll always see must foster or adopt in pairs or the whole litter.
Yeah.
Because there is a social benefit for puppies and kittens going out in pairs if they should be without the mother. So.
Yeah, and I mean, the mom, she knows best. She takes care of her puppies or kittens, and there are a lot of health benefits as well to stay with mama. I mean, she is keeping them warm. She's giving them her milk and everything like that. So that's another reason why it's so important for pets to stay with their mom and their siblings until the 8-week mark. Going back to of course the permits, if you are caught illegally breeding or selling, what could happen?
Well, if you're caught doing anything illegally, you are subject to face an legal action. Either it be at the immunity level. Now, if the violation, the breeding, the unwanted litter involves any sort of neglect or cruelty, you are subject to face higher charges. Which will include the Paso Police Department at a state level. Correct. And a lot of these, I guess, backyard breeders, I guess, sort of chuckle at the idea of getting cited. But it is a serious cause. It is a serious cause. Nobody wants to meet up with a judge in their courtroom. You know, it's they'll present their defense, but at the end of the day, we all want the best for the pets.
Yes.
And then their mindset obviously gets lowered, or I guess detoured, as per fact that the I guess income or money is involved, and
Yeah.
at that point, the rationale becomes somewhat, yeah, I guess out of the scope when it comes to the well-being of the animals, and they get greedy. They get
Yeah.
greedy. They make those comments in front of us during inspection time, in front of the judges, and it leads them nowhere good.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be aware that any sort of illegal action when it comes to an animal, either be breeding, the selling of it, you know, behavior. Not I guess not behavior. What's the word I'm looking for? Discipline, disciplinary actions. Towards your pet also will lead you to face legal actions at the local city level and at the state level.
And I mean, a lot of these backyard breeders, unfortunately, they only care about the profit. They don't care about the animal, like you're saying. And, the animal might not be in the best living conditions. And like you said, it might be an animal cruelty charge because of that neglect. And maybe there is, the physical abuse as well. But of course, go
Right.
ahead.
So on that note, I'm not going to say all cases, but a lot of these cases that do involve the unwanted, I guess those breeders and sellers. There's more to it than just breeding and selling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unwanted, or I guess illegal activity at the household.
Yeah.
The fact that they're money driven, it does. Yeah, I guess we have insight that there's more to it. Um, Drugs are involved. The neglect, the aggravated or aggravation between the household itself. So automatically we're able to make that conclusion. And we do, at that point, reach out to our sister agencies, the law enforcement, either be Paso Police Department, the constable's office, to further assist that. And because despite our job just entitling, I guess, the welfare of the animals, if we run into a situation or a matter that a family or a human life is also in concern, well, I guess we'll reach out to the agency that's appropriate to handle that situation. And at the end of the day, we just want the best for everyone.
Yeah.
It's real unfortunate that we do run into a situation here a lot in El Paso.
Yeah, unfortunately. And of course, these laws have been in place for some time, but it can be difficult to enforce. So, can you talk a little bit about some of the issues that you face with that?
Yes, pet owner responsibility. Um, Despite them being money driven, they will defend their pets with tooth and nail. Our team does an astounding. They do an outstanding job on a daily basis when it comes to the enforcement. Um, People get, I guess, emotionally driven to the point that our team out there is having to deal with, I guess, irate pet owners, uncooperative subjects, and that's when we do involve law enforcement agency to help further the investigation, to take the proper and correct actions when it comes to it. Now, if need be, if push comes to shove, we will reach out to the muni court's office, the county court, the courtroom. We will work up a warrant and we'll present it to you at your front door with the assistance of law enforcement. It's not to prove a point; it's to assure the well-being of the animals and to make sure that we do our due diligence when it comes to fulfilling our duties.
And I mean, there are a lot of people who assume that, oh, like you could just go on Craigslist and look at all of these breeders and there you go. And can we talk about how it's not as easy as as it sounds to people, to go on Craigslist or Facebook and see these people, selling, and obviously they're breeding their pets, but it's not as easy as just a quick little screenshot and there you go.
Right. So there's posts. There's tons of posts.
Uh-huh.
Either it be on Craigslist, on all social media, I guess, outlets,
Mm-hmm.
the marketplaces.
Yeah.
A lot of these posts are scams.
Mm-hmm.
They are misleading.
Mm-hmm.
I've had the experience firsthand to, I guess, work a couple of these posts, lead me to just a random address that has nothing to do with the cell itself.
Yeah.
Um, it's real unfortunate. It's real unfortunate. Our team does an excellent job on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Just because a post is there doesn't mean it's an actual sale.
Yeah.
You know, they are misleading for the most part. They are. On occasions, you will have someone tell you just straight out, "Oh yeah, here's my address. You know, come on out,
Mm-hmm.
$200. I'll meet you at the park." But
Yeah.
it's rare. It's rare that we get those.
Yeah.
Um, so our team does work day in day out to assure, and it's a door at a time.
Mm-hmm.
It's as much as we can do a door at a time to assure that we address the issue. We take the proper legal action against the responsible party. And a lot of times it's real unfortunate. We've had cases where it is the nephew, the a grandson that use the addresses and phone numbers of the grandparents, and
Oh
they
no.
don't have the slightest idea of what's going on. You knock on the door and like, I said, we're here for whatever reason. No, I don't have any pets. Well, who's
Mm-hmm.
so and so? Well, that's my grandson. Well, I said, he doesn't live here. I said, well, he told us to come here.
Oh no.
So it's real unfortunate and it seems real funny, but yeah, don't do that to grandma and grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Please don't.
not cool in simple terms.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, you guys aren't just responding to these calls or these little investigations. You have other calls that take priority sometimes.
Correct.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
Correct. Yeah. So on the breeding and selling calls, we don't just get a lead and jump on it and go knock on the door. We got to
Mm-hmm.
do our due diligence. We got to do our homework,
Mm-hmm.
do some research to make sure that we're just not gonna knock on any random door.
Mm-hmm.
At times, after doing our due diligence, we do end up knocking on a random door because that's the only lead we have.
Mm-hmm.
But like you mentioned, we do have a large range of calls. Anything from traffic hazards, animals in traffic, neglect, cruelty cases, vicious loose dog calls,
Mm-hmm.
bite exposures.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our team focuses a lot on the well-being and the safety of the public.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we do tend to prioritize school
Mm-hmm.
grounds.
Mm-hmm.
Schools are full of innocent, defenseless children.
Yeah.
And we do focus a lot on that to assure their well-being, because
Mm-hmm.
they're only the future of tomorrow, and we reach out to them, to educate them and let them know the do's, the don'ts, and the right way to handle the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, our calls range from we tend to wildlife calls. Not too long ago, we picked up that small caiman out of someone's backyard in that pool. Um, Larger animals, livestock. It's funny as it might seem. You'll see it on social media. We do have our team out there wrangling up goats, sheep, cattle, horses, and it's from county line in New Mexico all the way down to county line, driving into Socorro.
Mm-hmm.
So our team does handle a large amount of calls, ranging, like I said, from newborn, kittens, in a box, to a welfare check, no food, no water, no shelter. The neighbor's dog is getting gone out and become a nuisance and in
Mm-hmm.
multiple forms. But our team does have their hands full, and hats off to our team on a daily basis because from sun up to sundown, past midnight, sometimes the boots are on the street, and we do what's best. That's not what's best, but we do what we can to best serve the community and their
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys work so hard. When I did my ride along, I think you guys had about like 120 calls pending. So I mean, it's crazy. You guys are
Yes,
constantly just
our
working and
backlog
working.
has gone as far up as 350
Oh
calls.
wow.
Um, we have no downtime
Mm-hmm.
because there is always an issue to address. So we
Mm-hmm.
have little to no downtime. Now, if, as they say, quote unquote, we have downtime at that point, we take to the streets, to the parking lots, we canvass, we educate the public.
Yeah.
Because I guess reaching out to the public, assisting the public so they can assist us is only going to allow us to do our job, that much more efficient and that much more better.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, canvassing and reaching out to our community and educating is of course that's my main priority and my job title, and you guys do it as well. And like you said, the youth is really our future generation, and we hope that with all this education that they can change the ways that of animal welfare, and we just want everybody to understand that backyard breeding is not only illegal, but it's also very irresponsible for, all the pets that are here at the shelter, and just in general using a pet to make a profit. Wesley, can you talk a little bit about how irresponsible it is to breed at this point?
Yes. So, adding litters to an already oversaturated market, if you will, of pets, that in and of itself is irresponsible, whether it's willingly or accidentally. But in general, it's not in the best interest of the health of the animal. It rarely ever is. I'm sure people have heard stories about female dogs being bred repeatedly over and over and over, and just being forced to have litter after litter. And you hear stories of people doing it willingly and people who are just careless. They never get their animals fixed, and year over year, their female just has litter after litter, and their solution to that problem is to get rid of the litter. And then their dog has another litter. They get rid of that litter, their dog has another litter. Just in general, the health detriments of repeatedly breeding a female, like that's, and their long-term health of the animal, it's terrible. You're putting the health of your female at risk for what? And that's really the terrible thing. There have been most recently, a couple weeks ago, there was a spay done on a dog that we suspect that may have been repeatedly bred. She had worn, used enlarged teats, older dog, but going in there, the uterus is just destroyed. It's angry, it's inflamed, it's infected. Like that's the end result of repeatedly breeding.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at the end of the day, the removal of the uterus is what fixes the issue. But and now that dog can go on and potentially live a longer, healthier life because of the spay. But that's what I guess, without ever going to a vet's office and seeing what it does to your pet, you can never really fully appreciate what that level of carelessness can do to the female. Male dogs, the other side of that, not getting them neutered, testicular cancer is what they're at risk for. As an animal gets older, if they are intact, their odds of having undesirable behaviors that are generally associated to being intact, so that's roaming, that's mating behaviors. When a dog gets out of a yard, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be because it's intact, and it's going to be because it's in heat. And if it's a male, he's intact and he senses a female in heat somewhere in the area, and they jump the yards. In cats, cats are a bit different from dogs. The females, cats are induced breeders, meaning that in the right set of conditions, a female will go into heat, she'll have a litter, and she can breed several times a year. At unplanned intervals. And that kind of ties into when we urge people that find litters of kittens, leave them be. Mom is somewhere around there. If you remove the litter, you've taken away her litter. You will create a set of conditions. If she's in the right environment, she will go right back into heat, she will have another litter, and the problem will have been compounded.
Yeah.
Male cats. I'm sure everybody at some point in time has smelled cat spray.
Yeah.
That is typically from the toms, intact cats. As they get older, those type of behaviors, if they're left intact, they kind of become learned behaviors. We've had a couple of tomcats that have been adopted and returned because they mark.
Yeah.
That type of behavior is a little bit harder to unlearn after it's been that's been the norm for the cat for years.
Yeah.
Getting a male cat and even a male dog neutered early in life, so under 1 year, can help eliminate the potential for that behavior from manifesting. So if you don't like a cat or a dog marking or spraying, get them neutered.
Exactly. And also to continue to touch on how irresponsible it is for breeders to continue to breed their pets because of it's just unethical, but it's also it's taking away homes from dogs that are already here. And of course we want to advocate to the community to stop buying from these breeders. They're continuing to breed and continuing to make a profit because there are people there that are buying them. So can you guys talk a little bit about to the community what you want to express as far as choosing adoption and making adoption your only option?
Definitely. Everybody has heard adopt, don't shop.
Yeah.
Support your local rescues, support our neighboring humane society, support us. Between everybody here in this city that has adoptable pets, there is something for everyone. Trust me. There is something for everyone. And adopting from a reputable organization, you know that the animal will be vaccinated. It'll be up to date on its vaccines. It will be spayed or neutered and microchipped. Everything that you need to have for your pet will be included from these reputable organizations, and you know where you're getting.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that would be adopt, don't shop.
Yeah, definitely. We want to just advocate for the community to, now that you know about all these issues and that there are no registered breeders here in El Paso, we hope that this education will turn around the community from reaching out to these breeders and really coming out, because we have amazing dogs here. And sometimes people are set on a specific breed, but I encourage to come down. I've met so many amazing dogs here that maybe they're not the breed that I originally liked or wanted or what have you, but they're amazing dogs and they deserve a home. They deserve a chance. Can we talk a little bit about that and just your insight on some of the amazing dogs that you find or cats here at the shelter?
Yeah, for sure. Like you were saying, there's like Wesley was saying, there's a dog for everybody here. All the dogs here are great.
Yeah.
All of my pets are out of the shelter. I've had the luck of running into the working dog, the cattle dog, the healers, either be blue, red, or a combination of both. All of my pets at home are of that breed, and they've all come out of the shelter.
Yeah.
Great pets.
Yeah.
Great with the kids. Great with other animals. And I think that the gratitude, the warm feeling in your heart is a lot bigger when you rescue a pet than it is the cuteness of like, I just bought myself a cute little dog. Well, it's cute right now. Once it grows up, it's not so cute. It's going to become a handful. But the warm feeling inside of knowing that you gave that dog a second opportunity for a better life, it's a lot bigger than the cuteness that of a puppy. And I'm telling you, because I felt it. Walking through the halls almost at midnight when I was on the evening shift, this puppy caught my attention from the corner of my eye, doubled back, teased it through the gate door. 15 seconds later, pulled a card, spoke to adoption, and said, this one, great little dog. She is so grateful
Mm-hmm.
That she has a home.
Yeah.
And you can see that gratitude. It's rewarding. They understand that they know that feeling of driving up home and them waiting for you at the front door, at the front gate,
Mm-hmm.
or the front gate. I'm sorry. It's excellent. Like no other. Trust me, it is like no
Yes.
other. Indeed.
Yeah, yeah, I really do think that, that shelter pets are definitely more appreciative. I have, one that unfortunately I did buy from a backyard breeder when before I worked here. I was uneducated. I did not know. As soon as I got here, I vowed to never ever, um, you know, buy an animal again. And all of the rest of my dogs are adopted from here. And they are way more appreciative of me, and I just feel their gratitude for me taking them from the shelter. I don't know. It's just something about them that they feel it. They know what you did for them, and it's really a great feeling to save a pet from the shelter and give them that second chance. We never know what they dealt with before, and giving them that second chance is really um, it makes you feel better inside. It makes me feel great about myself for saving these pets, and they really reciprocate that feeling to me as well. um of course, now that people know about all these issues that we are facing, how can we report these illegal backyard breeders?
For sure. Yeah. Any sort of breeding, selling. Well, in that case, any sort of, I guess, complaints of any nature involving an animal, we do encourage a public call 311.
Hmm.
Now, if the matter does require the presence of law enforcement because either it be cruelty or, I guess, abuse in progress,
Hmm.
by all means, don't hesitate. Call 911 also.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that we're not going to respond. They are a sister agency of ours.
Yes.
So I guess once they show up, we'll be right behind them.
Hmm.
And then I know a lot of people reach out and they stick to the social media. And don't get me wrong, it's great because we get a lot of our leads or complaints through there.
Hmm.
But that's not the proper way to make a complaint.
Yeah.
You have to call 311, go through a call taker so they can generate a call case, or I guess to say start leaving a paper trail.
Hmm.
Because without a paper trail or any sort of archives, it's hard for us to build a case regarding address X, Y, and Z or pets. In that question. So then at that point, it just becomes more of a he said, she said, a word of a mouth, and
Hmm.
it's not credible. In
Yeah.
order for us to be able to do our due diligence and to be able to charge these people with a crimes, we have to make the report official and correct.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, details, as much details as you
For
can
sure,
give.
for sure, yeah, and everyone's they have the right to remain anonymous.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
um, Provide as much details as you can, addresses, the I guess all information description on the pet to be color, size, breed, sex. I understand there's a lot of mixed breeds out there, but do the best you can.
Hmm.
Involve I guess simple details like it's wearing a collar, if it's a harness, long eared, short ears, short hair, long haired,
Hmm.
because that's only going to allow us to further the inspection, or
Hmm.
I guess to get a rapid response to it, and
Yeah.
to be able to, I guess, close a call,
Hmm.
do our due diligence, and take the correct legal action if needed. Also, that doesn't mean that we're just out there issuing tickets.
Hmm.
We are a resource.
Yeah.
They need help, and we do see a case or a situation that requires assistance from our behalf. And trust me, we are
Hmm.
more than willing to help out
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
just want the best for the animals at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if this owner is willing to take care of their, animal, and that's where we want them to be. We don't want them to end up at the shelter.
Correct.
If we want them to keep a family together. And of course, you guys do respond to every single call that is given or called in to 311. You have to follow up with every single call. So.
Correct. Yeah. No. All complaints that come in that are generated, we do respond to them. We
Hmm.
do have I guess
Yeah.
a priority description sheet that we have based off on the call complaints, the
Hmm.
details given. Some are tended to quicker than others, but we will get to every address. We will get to every complaint. And a lot of times it doesn't seem like the balls are rolling because they say, well, I called this morning at 7 o'clock. We understand, but we are furthering the investigation prior to going out there in person. Trust me, behind doors, our phones are going off.
Yeah.
And we are on the phone asking questions, asking for descriptions, asking for photos, just to assure that once we go out there, we don't send our guys out there blind,
Yeah.
not knowing what to look for. So yes, no, we do indeed respond to every call out there for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, after the investigation, once it gets, higher, then that's kind of up to, the judge and everything like that, correct?
Right, for sure. The I guess the Munich court system, because all
Mhm.
tickets that we issue are violation of a city ordinance.
Mhm.
But yeah, like you did mention, it will lead to a point of speaking to a judge. Now,
Mhm.
if they have the luxury of just paying out the ticket right out, then they have the luxury to do so.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, because that doesn't make them any better than anyone else.
Yeah.
So, but if they have that option either to pay the ticket right out, either be on the spot payment plan, or speak to a judge,
Mhm.
either for whichever reason, and at that point they present their defense.
Mhm.
Our team will show up and we will be there in court also.
Okay. Anything else that you guys would like to add about our anti-backyard breeding campaign? Anything else that you want to touch on?
No, I guess maybe just a little bit more regarding the topic of the underage pets.
Mhm.
As Wesley was saying, that it's I guess it's not in best interest of the pets to be away from mom.
Yeah.
And it leads to the I guess the unwanted breed. I guess not unwanted breed, but the breeding of that
Mhm.
one female on purpose. They post the puppies up, they sell them. We respond to a call. I bought a dog from a breeder and a seller.
Mhm.
Now it's sick or it done passed away
Yeah.
already.
Mhm.
And then a lot of times, and then it goes back to the fact that they're doing it for the money, not for best interest of the pets.
Mhm.
A couple of years down the road, we get a call. There's a loose dog in the area, appears sick. We were able to track it back to one residence where we know that they've been breeding. There's this one dog in particular, and it gets to a point that the dog becomes sick. The females, they grow the tumors, the cancers there. They never take them to the vet. They never
Yeah.
get tended to. They get abandoned.
Mhm.
They get abandoned, either be it a parking lots, the deserts, all because the lack of responsibility.
Mhm.
And I guess it ties in, I guess, one thing with another. Um, the responsibility of vet care is real expensive. It is a big responsibility. It's almost as big as a child,
Yes, definitely.
And in some ways it might even seem bigger because once your child grows up, he's able to tell you what hurts, what doesn't hurt, what's
Yeah.
wrong, what they want, what they don't want.
Yeah.
Pet
Mhm.
isn't able to do that, and it's our
Exactly.
responsibility to a dog passes away that we assure and we are proactive to make sure that their health is taken care of. It's real unfortunate. It's real unfortunate. We do run into it almost on a daily basis.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess a message to the public would be is when you say and make the comments and social media posts, oh, we love our dog, uh,
Mhm.
love the dog, tend to the dog. Just don't say it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
Actions speak louder than words.
there you
Exactly.
go.
Exactly.
On that note, pet insurance is a thing now.
Mhm.
So just so you
Yes.
know, I have it for my dogs, and it really helps with vet costs and
Yeah.
follow-up care, and especially for my older girl who's 16 going on 17,
Oh.
who has osteoarthritis, hip dysplasia. Her care was getting very expensive,
Mhm.
but now, I mean, she's on. I have her with Nationwide, not a plug, but that's just who I have. Um, they cover percentages of your veterinary care bills. So
Mhm.
look into that. It's just like car insurance. Like, I mean, you're forced to have that, but when you need to use it,
Yeah.
it really
Yeah,
comes
it comes
in
in
a
handy.
bind. So pet insurance, look into it.
Yes.
Interesting.
And I guess to close off our segment, I have here that a pet is part of family, not a product. And I think that really is, a testament to what we'd all discussed today. We want the community to understand that pets should be treated as family. They're not a product that you can just make money off of. If you are, thinking, oh, well, that's not me. I bought my pet, that was that. But you are contributing to that overpopulation. You are contributing to backyard breeders staying in business. So we just encourage the public, now that you know better, do better. Going back to, episode 1, maybe you may have not known that there are no registered breeders here in El Paso, or all of the health issues that these animals might face from being bred. But now that now that you understand everything that is the results of backyard breeders, you can do better. And so we just really want the public to stop supporting backyard breeders, adopt, don't shop. And that's pretty much it. I just want to thank you guys for joining us. I know you guys are both very, very busy. And like I said, I truly mean that we are lucky to have both of you all here with animal services and saving pets' lives. You guys do make such a difference in this organization. And I'm really lucky to have spoke to you and known you here in our animal welfare organization. So thank you all so much for taking time.
And here's to many more years to come.
Yes, I'm not going anywhere, so I'm sure you guys aren't either.
I don't think none of us are going anywhere anytime soon.
No, we have a lot of work to do, so I'm sure we're gonna get to know each other better over the next years.
Work in progress, yeah, for sure. Work in progress, and I guess my work, I guess the work the field does, is a reflection of what the shelter does also. We just ping pong off one another.
Yeah.
And it's only for a good cause, and I guess we're just hoping for a better tomorrow, and
yes, definitely.
The sun will rise up again. So.
Yes, definitely. And we hope that the community can join us and help us, reach our goals. So thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.